I am. The good old days before the rust set in. We quickly grew across the world, and I retired to make way for the new breed, recyclables. So let's zoom forward to see what we're doing now. The special thing about Diversey is they really like to take care of more than just cleaning. And this comes from the thousands of brilliant employees in 60 countries across the globe. My colleagues, if you like. They go beyond clean to take care of what's precious, not just people, businesses, and equipment, but also local economies, growing industries, and the planet. Take our Linens for Life project that enhanced the livelihoods of local communities with discarded hotel linens. And we also did the brilliant Soap for Hope. But don't just take it from me. Listen to our people across the world tell you why they're proud to take care of what's precious to them.
What's precious for me is the thoughtfulness that Diversey has when it comes to creating shared value.
At Diversey, what's precious for me is being able to share our innovations to help develop safer and healthier environments with a focus on sustainability.
What precious means to me in Diversey is that my customers are happy and we are satisfied.
I know I can take care of what is precious to me, and that's the future of the planet.
At Diversey, I know I can take care of what is precious to me, my family, my wife, and my daughter.
This is all down to the amazing people that have worked at Diversey since that day 100 years ago, when we were just two people, some handsome-looking barrels, and 2 billion people on the planet to take care of. Now we are nearly 9,000 people with over 8 billion people to take care of. But do you know what makes me even prouder? Not just the past 100 years, but the thought of what we can achieve together over the next 100 years.
Namaskar. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my absolute privilege and honor to extend a warm welcome to you all at Inspiria 2023. We appreciate you taking your time out on a rainy day from your hectic schedules to be part of this exciting event. We are thrilled to have you here with us, and we look forward to an afternoon full of exuberant exchange of ideas and purposeful discussions. At Diversey, we go beyond cleaning to take care of what's precious to us, like we saw in the video. And that's what drives us to constantly deliver revolutionary cleaning and hygiene technologies that provide total confidence to our valuable customers, all of you here. Diversey has been the powerhouse of unmatched innovation and has delivered great customer value for the last 100 years. In the last century, we have constantly developed, questioned, reinvented, and innovated new solutions to help the businesses do better. And not only that, we have always worked towards ensuring that our customers reach their true heights of potential, of which the sky is the limit. Inspiria is an initiative by Diversey to bring together customers from across the industry to deliberate and discuss on the science of cleaning, to celebrate our partnership, to take care of what's precious, the planet, the people, business, while driving sustainable outcomes, to discuss new trends, learn best industry practices, and make passage for the new set of innovations. We have amongst us key stakeholders and opinion leaders who have helped shape the industry as we know it today. On that note, I would like to call up Mr. Karthik Iyengar, Business Director, Indian Subcontinent, to present on Diversey sustainable solutions for the hospitality industry.
Thanks, Kanika. And this audience is giving me goosebumps. First of all, thank you, everybody, to take out your precious time and spend this rainy afternoon with us. We're starting a little late, but sabar ka phal meetha hota hai. I'm sure all of us are looking forward to the exciting things that will happen in the next couple of hours. I have a small introduction. Not diversity doesn't need introduction to this audience, but there is something that changes, and we as a company would like to share how we are progressing. So it's a quick 10-minute presentation that I would like to run through with this group. So as you would have seen in the video, this is a special year for us. Special in the sense we have two milestones that are happening at this time. One is on August 5th, we will be completing 100 years as an entity. So it's a proud moment for us, and thanks to all customers here, all partners, stakeholders who have been having the trust and confidence on diversity and its solutions, and the people that makes the brand to go for 100 years. People who follow stock markets, people who follow global economy, you will see that not many companies exist in the same shape, form after 100 years, having seen world wars, having seen pandemics, having seen financial crisis, all that overcome in some form or the other. It means that our business basics to our customers has been fundamentally strong. And we expect in the next 100 years, we go even stronger from where we are. So thanks for the support over these 100 years to all our customers. The second milestone that I talked about, we are now part of a company known as Solanis. It may not be known or may be known for some of y'all. So Solanis is another 100-year-old company. And we've just finished the integration merger on 5th of July. So what does Solanis and diversity together bring? So first, let me introduce what is Solanis. Solanis is the leading specialty chemical company based out of US, and it's a multinational and present in about 130 countries. And they bring the water treatment expertise along with some more specialty chemicals, and I'll talk about it in the next subsequent slide. But since they play in the most precious part of all our operations, which is water, I'm sure going forward, this integration will give more value to our customers. So it's one of the platinum rated sustainable company. It was rated the best company in US in 2022. So what does it mean for our customers? So we are stronger together now. We remain committed in providing the same world-class or better world-class solutions. Of course, to address the clean, safe, and sustainable environment. But I think what we would strive to bring now is more value in terms of solutions to our customers. Now, there are two parts to this. So on the right-hand side or your left-hand side, you will see where Solanis plays today. It's basically in the food processing, packaging, manufacturing of tissue, specialty chemicals related to papers. They offer pool solutions. And then on the right-hand side, you have the traditional diversity business, which focuses on hospitality, healthcare, food service, and all the other institutional business. So with this combined, we almost are serving a very broad spectrum of customer segments, and we are able to offer more variety in terms of what our offering will be. So the best part is we are evolving. So if you would have seen the video, we were talking about 9,000 employees. Now together we are 15,000 employees. So that's the best part about diversity, right? Our cards keep changing every 3 years, but we are there with you to give you more solutions. And so we are 15,000 employees, about serving 96,000 customers. And of course, our global footprint will go from 120 today to 130 plus countries. That's where we are. So what's our business? So the role we play, and I think post-pandemic, it became more and more evident that resources like water, energy, everything is getting more expensive. Material cost is increasing. Labor is diminishing. So the quality of people that we have for our businesses are coming down. And therefore, just talking about cleaning is not enough. Just talking about hygiene is not enough. As an industry, as a player, we recognize that we have a more vital role to play and more engaging role to play with our customers when it comes to their entire operations. And with that, we basically coined ourselves a mission, vision statement, which we said that we as Diversey will go beyond clean to take care of what's precious. And it encompasses everything. It says that it will not restrict our focus on only cleaning, but we will go beyond cleaning. And what's precious essentially talks about the health and well-being of customers, your employees, our employees, reputation, personal safety, food safety, and of course, the most underlying part is the future generation sustainability part, where we say how we can bring a better planet for our future generations, our children, from what we had, the same or better resources they should be enjoying. So it's that holistic approach that we coined the word precious, because precious can be different to different people. But in our whole philosophy, we say people, planet, profit is those three elements where we say how we can protect what's precious to us. So what do? We basically try to bring ease and use of convenience, bring operational efficiency through products which are intuitive, products which are packaged. Some of them are showcased here, which does not need a dosing system. It brings flexibility in cleaning. Systems which are not necessarily liquid based can be done as multi-purpose in tablets, patented products. And we're talking about things during COVID when we basically came out with a technology which was AHP, which could manage COVID or the coronavirus within 1 minute of contact time. So that's how we think of the whole business. We think about how we can bring world-class solutions to our customers by moving from normal packaging to concentrates, super concentrates, hyper concentrates. We talk about dosing systems that are intelligent, can give you feedback over a period of time on how the operations are happening. We talk about products that are problem solvers on a daily basis. We talk about tools which help improve productivity and brings ease of operations into your business. So finally, everything comes to sustainability, because that's the need of the hour. I would not even say it's a buzzword. I would not say it's an industry need. It's where we are with the kind of news that we read today, what's happening in Delhi, what's happening in the hills across the states. It's all due to climate change. And obviously, there is a linkage to sustainability from that part. So we have adopted a behavior in all the Diversey colleagues, where we say we will be green at heart, where we say everything that we will present and propose and discuss with our customers has an element of green. It could be that the product itself is certified as green. It could be that the product is going to save utilities, water, which are precious to the planet. That makes it green. Our packaging could be in a way that reduces plastic or carbon emissions. That could be green. So we will, at every point of time when we come and sit with you, understand your operations, would try to present something which eventually leads to the benefit of the planet. So that's where we are. So what do we do here? Today, we already have some programs which are running successfully. I'm just naming a few of them, which is basically the low temperature laundry, or it could be, we are now, after COVID, we are now manufacturing most of our imported range, 90% in India. Whether it is tools or chemicals, we have moved everything in-house. We are not reliant on any imports anymore. So Green Seal is going to be manufactured or is already started manufacturing in India. So it is something that can help customers who really want to have a green certification as part of their operations can look forward to. Similarly, we talk about Flush Me Not, those systems that save water in the urinals. And finally, Twister, which is a diamond based pad, which reduces chemical, water, etc. in your floor care requirement. So these are some of the examples, some of the products that are getting now into the country. Some of them are already on display. Is first, again, when I touched about floor, we have now an antibacterial floor pads. Again, manufactured locally. Earlier, it used to be imported. We have 2 new machines to improve the productivity and improve efficiency in your operations, which were never available today. The Ultimax, if somebody has seen the video, essentially is a machine that you can customize to your need. It's a flexible system where you can choose what you want in the machine and then design your own full-fledged machine. So that's the flexibility with Ultimax. And then air care system with all the issues that we have had with the weather and all that. So there is a lot of issues. A lot of customers have come to us and asked us, can you give solutions, more solutions in air care? So a full-fledged range is being introduced now. Then obviously, when it comes to sustainability, all of us, like this hotel, has a lot of investment done, whether it's in the flooring, whether it's in the carpet, whether it's in the room with assets or in the kitchen or in the laundry. All those assets that have been deployed, you want a minimum life. And we run programs, various programs that are essentially trying to increase the life of your asset. So at the end, what we talked about, a combination of solutions, create an asset management program, and our teams are now equipped to come and discuss how we can run it in your premise, your organization, and based on that, we can really ensure that we are able to improve your asset life. Finally, coming down to how the whole journey for us closes out is if we don't give back to community. This is where we started with. So what we do with our customers and partner with customers, we have specific programs which help not only on a direct business basis, but also brings about how we bring the change in the society that we live in. So this is what we call as creating shared value with our customers. So shared value is basically social value and economic value. And we run programs like Soap for Hope, which is the most famous one most of you would have heard of. But then we have also now new programs coming in called Linens for Life. We have Coffee Briquettes program that is going to get launched in the next couple of months. All these programs, and then we have something called as Garima, which is the need of the hour, but we were ahead of the curve. So Garima is a program where we actually pick up people who are have very basic education. We train them on the whole operations part. We certify them and we place them back in organizations where they need. So for somebody who needs some people in stewarding, some people in laundry, some people in housekeeping, or somebody in food service needs outlet, people in outlet, you will get trained people from Diversity who know the operation. So we have been able to place about 20,000 candidates back into the industry. It's a very small number today, but we started this with the hope that this scales up and we need partners and customers to really engage with us. We are willing to go all out. We have been able to place very few of them in some groups, but most of them have been placed in the facility management companies. But post-COVID, all of us know the need is also big in our operations where we need people in stewarding, housekeeping, etc. So we can look at it, we can talk about it, and we really are keen that this brings benefit to one, people who need that kind of livelihood, and second, for our customers who want people to be trained quickly and can do the job on a daily basis. This is basically the impact of what we have done so far. Again, a drop in the ocean, if you ask me, but it is a start, and we need all your support to make this big. So 1 million people it talked about in the video, but we have reduced about 47 million kilos of carbon through our operations by doing the programs that they just talked about. So that, again, if you translate into fuel, is 1 kg is equal to 4 liters of petrol or diesel. That's the kind of calculation you should look at. It is immense from what we can do. So we have not even done, I would say, 1% of what is available or opportunity to do. So with that, we expect more and more partnering with your side where we can really contribute better to the climate. Finally, accreditations. I mean, with Diversity, we have been accredited with more than 20 organizations, whether it is Green Seal, NSF, ISO, whatever. So from that point of view, we are increasing our accreditations on a daily basis. So you get the trust that any program that you run with us, you're going to get a solution that is validated, accredited somewhere in the world globally. Thank you once again. I think this is a August audience, and I would say that in the next couple of hours, we are more keen to hear from you and from the panelists and the keynote speakers on how we can improve from here. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking time. Welcome.
Thank you, Karthik, for sharing such interesting facets about how diversity supports all our customers and enable them to be highly productive and work towards a common goal of sustainability. Now it is time to call upon our keynote speaker, Mr. Jayant Roy, MD for Lindstorm. Mr. Jayant, would you? Okay, sorry. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible. First of all, thank you to the diversity team for inviting me over on this very important topic of sustainability. I will just introduce myself shortly. I am Jayant Roy, and I head the India business for Lindstorm Services India Private Limited. Lindstorm is actually a global organization present in 22 countries currently, and it's the leading rental service provider in Europe and Asia. And congratulations to the diversity team on completing 100 years of growth, and wish you many more years of success and growth. Some things that I just wanted to talk about, since we are on this very important topic of sustainability. Something that I just wanted to highlight to all of you, that this year the Earth Overshoot Day falls on the 2nd of August. Incidentally, last year it was the 28th of July. What that means is that to fulfill our needs today, we would require 1.75 times the Earth that we live in currently. These are some figures that I just wanted to share before you. Looking at the water stress levels, these are some of the countries with very, very high water stress levels. And if you see, India, highlighted in deep red, shows the water stress levels of more than 80%. I've also highlighted some of the cities where we have the major presence of laundries in India. They're highlighted in purple. And if you see, all those cities are again in stress levels, water stress levels in these cities are more than 80%. The question is that, what are we doing about this? Like we all know, we all are here in Mumbai. I'm sure some of us are from probably cities outside Mumbai. But in Mumbai, we all know what happens during summers when there is a scarcity of water. Water does not come for most of the day. People probably get access to water for only 3 hours or 4 hours a day. And this is something which keeps growing year on year. But what are we doing about this? So these are some questions and some facts that I wanted to share with you all as we start this discussion. So something that we feel is really required, or the need of the hours is how we could get into more circular solutions, because circular solutions could be the way that we move ahead into a more sustainable world. Some facts that I wanted to share with you. Currently, the global economy is only 7.2% circular. Like I was mentioning, that every year it just keeps getting worse. So the overshoot day moved from 28th July last year to 2nd of August in 2023. The interesting part is, and we've all heard this before, that there is enough in the earth for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. The studies have shown that if we actually adopt a more circular economy, we could probably do with 70% of the resources that we are using today, with only 70% of the resources. use less, use longer, use again, and make clean are the 4 key principles of a circular economy. And if we are looking at tackling this overshoot or the challenge to overshoot, what is essential is basically how the public and the private sector come together, joining hands to tackle this biggest challenge. And this is how a circular economy can offer solutions to reduce, regenerate, and redistribute vital materials that we use currently. So taking forward the circular economy, I wanted to discuss more on, or kind of just show some of the steps that Lindstrom today has taken on making, or at least trying to make this world a better place, or trying to adopt the circular economy. Just sharing with you about Lindstrom a little bit. Like Diversity, we are a 175-year-old organization. So this year we complete 175 years of our history. It's a organization which is headquartered at Helsinki. We are present in 22 countries worldwide with about 5,000 employees and about €500 million turnover. Then, how are we looking at a more business which is centered around the circular model? When we design our garments, the garments that are designed for any industry, because we cater to almost all different segments or industry segments, the garments are designed for maximum use. The fabric that we use in designing the garments, or the garments that we offer for different application areas, are designed for a maximum life. Production is on demand. So basically, we do not look at stocking or overproduction. We have our own production facilities, which actually was designed based on the Nike principle of production on demand. And we've got people who've come in and designed the same kind of facilities for us, where if our customers require even a single garment, it can be produced in our factories. So that's something that minimizes the waste that is generated. The garments are repaired and reused. So at our laundries, the garments are repaired. If there is any repair maintenance that needs to be done on the garment, that is done in our facilities. And the idea is to reuse the garment as many number of times. So typically, if we look at, let's look at a kitchen in a hotel. If you have your workers who might be leaving, or your retention might not be very high, or the turnover of staff is very high, then the same garments are actually taken back and put back into circulation. And this continues till the time we actually outlive the life of the garment. Then even our laundry process, the way we actually process a laundry, in the first slide, when I was showing you the water stress levels, one thing that I wanted to highlight, that we are, over the last one decade, we are trying various ways on how we could look at not only minimizing the consumption of water in our laundries, but also how we could look at recycling. Recently, we've been doing a pilot with NALCO, a lot of you would be aware of, which is into water solution systems, global water solution system giant. We are working with NALCO, and we've actually installed a water recycling facility at our plant in Chennai, where we are looking at almost recovering 60 to 70% of the wastewater that is generated. So that's just a step that we are taking. But the idea is that how we keep on, increasing our efforts to actually bring out further recycle of water. Similarly, even for energy and the other consumables that are there, we are constantly working on how we could reduce the use of these. And then at the end, once the garments have lived their life, then how do we recycle? So currently we are recycling all these garments to create new products which could be put into circulation again for our customers. So those are some of the things that we are looking at doing in terms of our business model. Incidentally, just to share with you that Lindstrom was actually named as one of the Finnish pioneers of circular economy by Sitra, which is actually an innovation fund operating under the supervision of the Finnish Parliament. So that was last year. Then going back to the circular business model, we are currently EcoVadis Gold certified, an organization. We are certified in ISO 9001, 14001, and EN 14065, and OTEX certified for our textiles. When we look at sustainability, like I was mentioning, today we are looking at recycling almost 100% of our textile recycle and reaching net zero emissions. It's a 24/7 service, transparent and efficient model. We have all our garments which are RFID enabled to actually see the life of the garment, that it would have the number of washes, what cycles the garment would have undergone, and how we could look at extending the garment life, transparency for our customers and end users. So all those are built as a part of our business model. And it's a comprehensive service. When we are looking at a comprehensive service, it's a 365-degree service, right from investing in the garments for our customers to bringing it back to our service centers for washing, repairs, maintenance that needs to be done, to the final storage and then disposal of the garments which would have lived out its life. So it's a full 360-degree service model that we actually offer. Some of the things, since we were talking about sustainability, things that we wanted to highlight as an organization, we are looking at reaching 100% of our textile waste should be recycled by 2022. By 2025. In 2022, we had already reached about 60% of our textile recycling. More than 30% of the textiles that we purchase are actually from recycled bio-based fibers. So that, again, helps in starting off the entire value chain through a more sustainable process. We are looking at becoming carbon neutral by 2030 and net zero by 2050. Recently, we have our targets, science-based targets have been approved just last month. And like I mentioned, that the idea is to reach net zero emissions by 2050. These are some of the things that our customers talk about us. So we've got, like I was mentioning, we've got customers from various segments. So these are some of the customers from hospitality, from healthcare, from pharmaceutical, and from food companies that talk about how we are helping them become more sustainable. I would not take much more of time, but this was just in short showing how we could look at, as an organization and as both the public and the private group work together to make the world more sustainable and look at promoting more circular business models. So at the end, what we do is help our customers become more sustainable. So I would leave this dais on that note and look forward to more interaction with you and to hearing other speakers and panelists during the next few hours of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your wisdom on sustainability and leaving us with thought about the circular economy, which we have a power which we possess as citizens of this planet, and this will give us a thought to realize something about that. In the immortal words of Charles Darwin, it is the long history of humankind. It is those who learned to collaborate and improvise. Those were the ones who mostly prevailed. On that note, we are all set to move to the next part of today's agenda, which is a panel discussion. Without further ado, I would like to invite on stage our esteemed panel members. Mr. Birendra Gupta, General Manager from Lemon Tree Hotels. Mr. Harkaran Singh Sethi, General Manager, Radisson International Airport. Mr. Manish Dahiya, General Manager, Sofitel BKC. Mr. Ajoy Balakrishna, General Manager, Fairfield Marriott. Mr. Nishant Kumar, Hotel Manager, Marriott Executive Apartments. Now I would like to invite our guest, Mr. Bhuvanesh Khanna, CEO of BW Communities at Business World, who will be the moderator for this discussion today.
All right, this is on. So I was addressing them. I said, students, are you ready? All right, so hospitality is a great business, but also they come with a big ticket, right? So sustainability should be high on their agenda. And I'm sure it's part of the KRIs of not just the general management led by strong general managers, but also for all the people who report into them, right? Be it energy, be it water, or all the resources that a hotel bites into. We have to run a hotel. How best do we run it with least damage to our planet and our environment is a challenge. These general managers need no introduction. She's already listed out their names. So I'll straight away head into the session. So let me begin with you, Bipender. मेरे को ये बताओ, what does sustainability mean to you and why is it so important? I mean, you had a large portfolio and a decent brand. Well, I know Patu has done quite a bit on trying to control the outflow of energy and water, but what is it at your command that you can control and how do you bring about change?
So, Mr. Khanna, I look sustainability as
Bhuvnesh, Mr. Khanna, mere pitaji ka naam hai.
So, Bhuvnesh, I look sustainability as something that we need to leave for the future generation. So we need to leave something for the future generation, what we are today. So somebody has left it for us. That's why we are sitting in this room. And we need to ensure that the generations ahead of us also have the same opportunity like us, or maybe better opportunity. When it comes to importance, I think it's more to do with survival in the near future than importance is how I look at sustainability. If we go back 2-3 decades back, when we used to stay in apartments, there was nothing called rainwater harvesting or sewage treatment plants, which we never had. Today, it's a mandatory where it's additional cost to people who live there, but it's a mandate for builders, for everyone to follow it. So what was not important couple of decades back is a mandatory thing today. And maybe in the coming future, it will be more to do with survival of the next generation who are dependent on us today.
So tell me, in your own manner, how long have you been in this location now?
So around a year.
Around a year. What is it that you've done in the last 1 year to affect any change?
So the first and foremost thing that I did, when I moved into the hotel and I took around, and the first thing I did was switching over the entire lighting system to LEDs.
Come again?
LED lightings. So I ensure that the hotel is 100% LED lighting. Another achievement that I would take is that the hotel got classified as a green building gold level certification from Indian Green Building Institute.
Excellent. Excellent.
It was a robust process which took almost 8 to 9 months. And it's a continuous process where we have yearly renewals, yearly audits.
What next?
So
what's on your
another
agenda?
level that I'm aiming in a coming time is to upgrade the gold level certification to platinum level.
And what about the lead thing?
I'm still studying on that. So there are a lot of parameters which we need to fulfill it. Certain things demand, certain things restrict us because the project is already there. But the upcoming hotels which we are building or we are about to manage in the portfolio, we are looking at them to take them to lead.
So what kind of commitment is there from your corporate?
I think corporate is pretty inclined. So, it's a mandatory requirement is what we look at as sustainability. We work something on ESG as an initiative. So it's a part of KPIs of everyone working in the hotel. With somebody joining in has to give a declaration.
KPIs can be a tick mark on your
It's measurable.
appraisal, but
It's measurable, Bhuvnesh. So if an employee joins, he has to give a declaration that he will abide by the environmental rules of the hotel. He will have to go through a compulsory mandatory ESG test before getting confirmed.
Okay, good.
So that's something that
So
at least
for me, for instance, we've stopped serving filled full glasses of water in my house, right? So we bring in a vessel, which we call jug, right? And we place it over there. Jitna pina utna dalo. But jo dala wo piyo, right? Every time you touch a tissue or a napkin, right? Think and point out to the people who are doing it, carry a kerchief, right? I know somebody is going to lose business, but then we can't chop trees for all that. Coming to you, Manish, you've handled some brilliant assets. You've just moved in from Hyderabad, very new over here in the BKC with the Sofitel. Tell me, what can we do to increase awareness on this critical issue and motivate people to practice this in their personal and professional life? Because a whole lot of people, it's becoming very symbolic at times, I think. But then वो आप होटल के अंदर जाके देखो कि वो बात तो उसकी कर रहे हैं, बट वो जो लड़का कमरे में सफाई करने आया, उसको वो डस्टर ठीक मिला नहीं, वो अपनी वो ट्रॉली में से जाके नैपकिन लाके उसने सफाई कर दी. So that's an effort gone down the drain.
Well, bonjour, namaskar, everyone. Pleasure to be amongst everyone here this afternoon, and thank you, Bhuvnesh. Lovely to be on the dais. Learning about what everybody is doing, sharing some of the best practices that we may be doing, and probably taking away a lot of it from here as a take. I think before we say anything else, it's very important for us to know where we stand, what we do, right? For all of us, I'm sure sustainability means many different things. For me, it's very simple. It means meeting the needs of the present without compromising on the ability to make sure that the needs of the future are met. So put that very simple format. I think we all represent, and I think all of us represent the tourism and hospitality industry, which has a very large role to play. I think some of the statistics to share that I am aware of is that almost 80% of the product and services that we are dependent on as our offerings are dependent on nature, which equally means that we have a large role to play together. I think already the numbers in terms of the gas emissions is from the tourism sector is now touching and crossing 2-digit mark. So which means it has reached almost towards 12% as what we do together. Again, brings towards something for us to focus and think of as to what we are doing together and how much can we do and bring on the table together, right? And at the same time, I think if I put it together in very simple format and understanding for all of us is that as hospitality, we have 3 key areas to represent. One is, of course, to do with stay. Second is to do with eat, which means to do with the F&B offerings. And I think the third and the most important part and aspect which we all live is, I think, as people, right? So what we do, what we practice is something that we are experiencing today. And I think whatever we do today, we see it in terms of change in weather, and probably that's what the climate is going to experience in the years to come. So that means there is a lot for us to do together. I think a lot has been done, Bhuvnesh, in this segment. And I think for us to understand that even as simple as if I take example of food, since we speak about an industry where food and beverage offering is equally very large, I think all of us pretty much would have heard or are aware that 1/3 of the food generated goes as waste. And frankly speaking, to whatever I know of in terms of whatever I read, whatever I understand, and whatever I go through the learning process, food has taken the lead in terms of the overall wastage. So I think 44% now comes from food, which has taken the lead from what probably we were thinking and talking, and probably once upon a time, it started for us towards our first step of sustainability was probably paper and cardboard, which is now at 17%. Plastic, which was the next where we started speaking of, move away from single use plastic, which is now at 12%, and probably the metal stands at 4%. And if you look at what we all do, we have a mix of everything in our day-to-day needs and everything that we do together, as industry and representations of what we do. So I think it's very important for us to know what we do together, what we do today is going to create a huge impact for all of us. And I think every measure taken will somewhere help us work towards sustainability. And I think one more area for us is that there is always the first step. That first step is very important. And once that step is taken, there is so much more that we can gain. And I think when we all come together, it will be excellent for us to share as much as practices that we do together, so that we take away a lot of learnings from such forums. And I think diversity, it's great for you to reinitiate this platform together where all of us are coming. And I think between Mumbai, Hyderabad, and the journey with Accor now for 11 years, I have learned a lot. I've been part of a lot of initiatives from where we had only heard about them. Today, we are practicing them. And I think between the 3 key area focus for us, which is to do with stay. Now, stay brings in a lot of elements, whether it is to do with energy, whether it is to do with water, whether it is to do with every other practices of single use, whether it is the in-room or whether it is all the other touch points that we work together. I think the next one which I spoke about is food. I'm sure I already spoke some elements of how responsible we all need to be in terms of whatever food we generate together and whatever waste that we generate together. So I think a lot of elements which are now required, and probably some of them that we were doing manually, today we are now inching towards making sure that we have something to support us to what we speak and what we do. And probably the next platform that we are venturing is into making sure that the waste was earlier being manually tracked. Today, now we are tracking it digitally, which means we have more concrete data for us to analyze and see how better we can get from there. And I think another very important element which we all need to do is being transparent about what we do. And sometimes is something that we also saw within our company as Accor, is that earlier we had our own certification program and initiative called Planet 21. We came a long way with all the best practices and a lot of small efforts put together, which later created a lot of impact in terms of what we do, what we showcase. But today it's all about also making sure that what you do, you need to be transparent about it, and which means we need to have a certification. And that's how the next step for us, Bhuvnesh, to make sure that all the steps that we have taken internally is to go towards getting a certification done. And I think we also have now a commitment in place, say that all our hotels will be Green Key or Green Globe certified hotels as well. Excellent. To stamp every initiative that we put forward.
Real test is to bring to the hotels practices what we practice at home.
Correct. And
right?
most
from switching off lights
to
from
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think another element.
And also managing tomatoes.
Yes. I mean,
right?
Simple thing which you said, what you do personally, professionally. I think for me at home, even as family, probably even the daily need for us, probably as simple as it could be the milk that comes home. We make sure that we are associated with somebody who takes the bottles for us, glass bottles for us, and refills it again next day morning.
I'm going to speak about that when I close.
So this is something that we
do. Or perhaps now we were born into a very environmentally friendly world. Something happened in the late 90s to now where we are. We screwed it all up. We used to go with our Coke bottles. The Coke is not the ideal thing, but we used to go for refills, right? We had water, we had those gravity water filters, but we let go all our best practices and embraced a wasteful SOP, be it at home or work. We'll come to that when we close.
Thank you.
But Manish, thanks a pile. By the way, I'm going to be doing a show with you next week.
Yes.
Right, and that'll be on sustainability. So right after this, I'll be rushing out because we are going live with a 4 to 5 p.m. show. So that'll be with the North. So I'm coming to you, Nishant. मैं आप दोनों के पास ना लाइन से आ रहा हूँ. So Nishant, मेरे को ये बताओ. To you personally, what does sustainability mean, right? And why is it so important? And what do you do about it?
First and foremost, thank you so much for inviting
Thoda
me
muh
to
ke
the
paas.
panel of this.
Get the mic near your mouth. Yeah.
Sustainability for me personally is not a choice. is the way of life. And if I could take the liberty of representing Marriott over here, in Marriott, sustainability is not choice to anyone. It is the way of life, how we treat our guests. In everything that we do, sustainability is part of it. And is it a choice? Why is it part of it or way of life? Reason being, going forward, that's the way things are going to be. And our industry is something, the business comes in if everything is going fine in the economy and in the natural, and there are no natural calamities or anything. With countries having emission targets being put up, with large companies putting years by when the emissions would be zero or sub-zero levels, we don't have a choice but to move into choices of items which are more sustainable, biodegradable. Otherwise, we are going to face calamities or challenges across which will affect our business. And as a human being, we should not dump waste into the nature. Our responsibility would be to take care of nature. So that would mean using biodegradable chemicals, zero plastic waste, zero emissions wherever possible, and all best practices what we incorporate right now or train our team members, the new generation of hospitality professionals who are coming into the system. It has to be sustainable one. It has to be something which is long lasting and which doesn't create any sort of hamper for the nature, which doesn't hamper the entire operation or create, the green cycle has to continue. And taking a cue from what you said, we have to, whatever we are practicing in hotel or in the industry has to be what we practice at home. So that's something which we personally, we try to practice and something which we follow.
So I must tell you, interesting submissions, but one of your general managers, he's now of course in Indonesia, Nitesh Gandhi. All the hotels, what do? You all have your own canteen, your mess, where you all go and pick your meals together and eat together. He had removed dustbins. So he ensured whatever was put in the plate by his colleagues was all consumed. So कुछ लोगों को जैसे हम लोगों को आदत पड़ गई कि भाई भूख इतनी है हम दाल इतना लेते हैं फिर खाया नहीं जाता तो फेंक देते हैं. So start taking small portions because, taking away from what Manish had said, food is the biggest waste. And when you step out of a party at a 5-star hotel, you feel embarrassed and guilty कि वो गरीब आदमी बेचारा बाहर खड़ा है जिसके पास 2 दाने नहीं है खाने के और हम लोग इतना वेस्ट करते हैं. So I think the challenge is to control food, of course all waste, but food wastage has to be controlled viciously. And for that, Chef Kinney and everybody, you guys have to work on it. How do you plan your portions? Jason, all of you. So thank you. And so I'll now come to Ajoy and then I'll come last to you. All right. So मेरे को ये बताओ, do you measure your sustainability achievements, your KPIs, and how frequently do you measure this? And how do you use these for the benefit of your organization? I mean, you head the Fairfield.
That's correct. Fairfield is well known as a limited service brand. And we are very conscious about what we do in the hotel. As a Marriott, as a brand, we've got to update all the measures that are taken every month. So all the measures as far as water is concerned, electricity is concerned, everything is updated onto the website. And it has got to be done monthly basis. And if we don't, we are caught up for it. Simple things we do, water, STB plant that we do, the water which is reused for flushing or for gardening, the compost waste plant, what is used, like Manish pointed out, the food that is wasted from buffets are huge. At least whatever is wasted is reused is something which we have to make sure of. And electricity is another thing which we have to measure. So these are things that we constantly measure and we update.
Ajoy, talking about water wastage and all that, I was seeing this video on WhatsApp, very interesting video about this gentleman who's in his 80s. His name is Abid Surti. I know you must have all seen it sometime. He has been going home to replace वो फेस होता है ना टैप के अंदर, फॉसेट के अंदर, ताकि एक बूंद पानी ना गिरे. उन्होंने अपना ये बेड़ा उठाया हुआ है and he's going house to house. बुजुर्ग हैं, but he has his entire team. You know, these are noble things. He's born in a generation where we valued all this. You know, so yeah, so these are measurable things. We have to do things which just don't make a tick on our appraisal, but which, you know, we are not going to live too long, right? It's a short life. 80, 90, 100 is a short life. But how do we make our presence felt, right? What have we given back? Coming to you, हरकरण, मेरे को ये इसके साथ मैं पंजाबी में बात करता हूँ, आज मैं अंग्रेजी में कोशिश करूँगा. So tell me, is it a myth that sustainable products and practices are costly? And how and where do we strike a balance between cost and sustainability practices? I mean, by the way, he heads a brand new asset, the Radisson's premier airport hotel. So
thank you, Vivesh. Thank you. No, it's lovely to have to be here, and thank you for having me, and of course to be in a panel of this high network individuals, professionals. It's amazing. So coming to the question now, I would say, you see, sustainability is a long-term approach, and we cannot measure it in a short scale, and we're not talking about 1 year or 2 years. We're talking about like 50 years down the line, and like many of us said, that it's about the next generation and generations coming after us. And of course, if you're gonna invest and start asking for an ROI from day zero, of course, it's not gonna fit in your P&L. Like for example, now the hotels are putting up a water bottling plant, right, in the hotels. And there is a complete 10-year ROI sheet which has been created, right? And for the first 2 years, of course, there'll be a capex cost, and then you're going to have some kind of an investment, and then eventually from the third and the fourth year, you will start doing your savings. But then if you see on the larger scale of 10 years, you have saved enough which recovers your cost. So I think the sustainability as a concept has to be taken on a very long term, as the name says, sustaining. So it has to be on a long-term plan. But I do also want to point out on something which I firmly believe, like one of my co-panelists have said about, you see, hospitality is a lifestyle, is what I consider. It's not a profession, it's a lifestyle. And sustainability is one of the most important aspect in today's generation, which you need to imbibe in your lifestyle. And from the awareness point of view, I was speaking to a few principals of the college last few weeks, and I was saying, why don't we involve this subject in our hotel management colleges? Why can't we make this as part of our induction program for all the new joiners? And something which we have initiated, at least at our hotels now, where one of the subject very clearly for all the new joiners is just talking about sustainability. And sometimes I think, we end up making things too complicated, and hence it comes out as a big subject of discussion. We don't need to do that. I think simple things like no bin cafeterias, making sure the reusable linen in the rooms, and incentivizing your guests and getting them to earn some more reward points if they don't get your towels or to wash. I think, and these are simple things which you are doing I think all of us are doing at our hotels, and so is Radisson. Yeah, so that's what is my perception.
Yeah, good. So far, so good. The other thing that I noticed was the cook at my place, he would tend to buy vegetables for the entire week. और फिर मैं उसे बोलता था, ये तू क्यों लेके आता है 1 हफ्ते के? ही से, भैया बहुत अच्छी क्वालिटी के थे, रेट अच्छा मिल रहा था, ऐसे बनाएगा तो तू 1 हफ्ते के बाद बासा करके बनाएगा. So we start hoarding and we waste. I think we need to eat fresh, and we need to eat right and the right quantities. So what is the magic mantra? I think a general manager alone can't do it. The kitchen has to do it. The procurement guys have to do it for air conditioning, for other resources. The engineering team, everybody has to put their heads together. Now, this is worse than a war which will be unleashed on us. You know, they say the next world war is going to be around water, right? So, and ask people, Cape Town didn't have it. A whole lot of places, Shimla doesn't have it now. Bangalore, you know, so Bangalore gets water by the tankers. But mercifully, where I live, water used to be at 150 feet. 2 years ago, it came at 90 feet. Now it's between 50 and 60. And this is the magic of rainwater harvesting, right? And conservation. So it's not going to be just one step. It's not just going to be one person. It's going to be a whole lot of steps. And we've got to find a way through it. The other thing that I want to say is, look at the hall. If you people want to look around, it's full. People are standing. Now, I've rarely see any event, you know, where people come in over here. This is the power of the brand, right? And the relationships. So congratulations, Team Diversity. Yeah. So it's very heartening because when you're sitting on the stage, on the podium, and you see कि यार ये टेबलें तो खाली पड़ी हैं, मैं बोल किसको रहा हूँ. So this is very good. So thank you again. I am a huge sucker for sustainability and इसे कंजूसी बोलते हैं. हम लोग कंजूस हो जाओ. पानी के लिए कंजूस हो, एनर्जी के लिए कंजूस हो, खाने पीने के लिए कंजूस हो. नौकरी जहां करते हो वहां पर कंजूसी करो, नहीं तो लोगों की तनख्वाहें कम करो. All right, so good. I'm delighted to have shared the same space with you and for a topic which means a lot to me and for all of us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I would request you guys to please stay back for 2 seconds. The panel discussion gave us a very meaningful insight. So thank you guys. And it will really make us think every time we go into a hotel that we do not waste any resources. And that's an assurance from somebody who travels a lot that I will definitely think about it. On that note, we would like to open the floor for questions. So it is the time for the audience to shine. So please ask your questions to our panelists here.
Silence also comes as sustainability, I think.
They're being conservative. Yes. Saving
all right, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you.
can you stay back? Anil, sir, I would request you to please come on stage and please give a token of gratitude to all our panelists. While we assemble the photographers to know a little more about diversity, we have small cards on the table. So whenever you get the time, please scan on the barcode and you will learn a lot of new information about diversity.
So I must tell you, I used to work with Reliance. In Reliance, they encouraged you, first of all, ties were banned, no coats, no jackets in office. Bahar ja rahe ho lag gaye. They would encourage you to wear breathable cotton shirts. Why? Because you would consume less air conditioning. And this started with Mr. Ambani himself, right from the top. White bush shirts.
Brideshwar is here. He's just coming. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts and ideas. Thank you. Next, we have a very interesting and conversation and discussion that will be, and a keynote speaker. As a keynote speaker, we have Chef Paul Kinney, who is the culinary director for St. Regis. So.
Good afternoon. Respected leaders of the industry, fellow chefs, dear friends, and team diversity. I'm extremely humbled to be a part of Inspiria 2023, so thank you. Quarantine, isolation, e-pass, sanitizer, Virex, N95. These all words were unheard or rarely used pre-pandemic. March 2020, our world witnessed one of the most fatal pandemic our generation would remember. Around the world, the pandemic caused significant social and economic disruption, including the biggest global recession. Among other issues, supply chain instability led to widespread shortages of supplies, particularly food supplies. COVID was a real challenge to both our lives and livelihoods. The crisis was unprecedented and the situation was out of control. COVID has changed the life of millions around the globe, including hospitality. While we know that our industry was the hardest hit by COVID with travel bans, the restrictions on number of covers on both our room revenues and F&B numbers witnessed a steep dip. Whilst the business levels were low, hygiene became of prime importance. Use of masks, frequent hand washing, use of gloves, sanitizing our food items, food handling surfaces, and many more measures were put in place to ensure that the food we serve was absolutely safe. Hotels got very creative and introduced new methods and ways to serve our guests, keeping the social distancing and safety in mind. Methods like mobile check-ins, digital keys to access rooms, sensor or gesture-based features were used to elevate touchless experiences. Hotels, I think probably for the first time, got creative and focused on food delivery, either through their own apps or through third-party apps. Post-COVID, coming back strongly was a big challenge for our industry. Trust was a major factor between the brand and the guest, and that they will be taken care of. Hotels, in the lean time, focus on training the staff and elevating guest experiences in all possible ways to ensure safety to our guests. The spaces were not just cleaned, but clinically cleaned and disinfected. With the restrictions laid by the local authorities and the number of guests allowed in restaurant, banquet spaces, and the travel ban, the business took a nosedive. But now the industry is bounced back in a big way. The positives can be seen in upward moving growth curves, be it rooms or F&B revenues. There are many restaurants mushrooming around with many talented chefs that are rising up and taking the dining experiences to a different level. While the hospitality industry was the hardest hit in terms of layoffs and retrenchments, now we see a different challenge of getting staff and recruitment, right? Hope this increased business numbers would impact the changing scenario in a very positive way. While the biggest takeaway from post-COVID is that the safety and hygiene practices that we put in place are now still being carried out, and we continue to serve food in the safest way possible. And we look forward to a happier time for a lovely industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chef, for sharing really interesting insights. Pandemic really changed our lives. And, while on one side we had extreme disease, we also realized internally as human beings what was important, and we worked a lot towards it. And hence, the earlier presentation about circular and using what you actually need became even more important. So thank you, Chef, for sharing your industry insights. With this, we move to the second panel discussion, and I would like to call the panelists for the same. We have Mr. Yogesh Deshmukh, who is the Director for Services at the Marriott Executive and Westin Powai. We have Chef Jelson, who is from the Culinary Director for Novotel Juhu. We have Ms. Vaisha Punjabi, the Hygiene Manager for St. Regis. We have Ms. Rinku Mandal, the Regional Housekeeper for the Lalit. And we have Mr. Ajay Sharma, who is the Cluster GM for Fortune Hotels. And again, I would call you, sir, to please. They're just coming in.
The center of things.
So I'm back here. It's like an intermission. इसके बीच में मैं बाहर जाके एक deal भी crack करके आ गया. All right, so we're back over here. We all have our operational challenges. We have to find balances. We don't have to be control freaks, but we've always got to be on the ball, right? We need to know what's happening. And if you dive into a pool without a good set of warnings, without a lifeguard over there, good swimwear, and depends if you're in the sea with added safeties. If you don't do all that, you're surely going to hit your head against the bottom of the floor or you drown. Right? So any good manager is somebody who makes it predictable via his control systems, vision, and predictability. Operational challenges post the pandemic have been very different. First of all, nobody knew how to handle the pandemic. पहले तो जब तक हमें समझ आई तब तक तो हम वीडियो देख रहे थे कि चाइना के अंदर लोग खड़े खड़े गिर रहे हैं. फिर हम सोच रहे थे हमारे यहाँ तो नहीं गिरे. वो पहली वेव में नहीं गिरे, दूसरी वेव में गिरे. और गिरे तो ऐसे गिरे कि हमें ये नहीं पता था कि हम आ रहे हैं या जा रहे हैं. Right? I'm a Delhiite, so I switch between English, Hindi, and Punjabi, and other things which I won't say. So it didn't take me too long to recognize Chef Jerson. He was there at the BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit. तो ये आया because हम बड़ी देर के बाद मिले, तो मैंने कहा भाई तेरा जो स्टाइल है उससे तो मैं तेरे को पकड़ ही लूंगा. So, all right, good. So I don't need to introduce them. You've introduced them all. Hospitality is not for the faint-hearted, and it's tough. The only parallel I will draw is it's worse than the job of a doctor, and within doctors, worse than the job of a heart surgeon or a gynecologist. You never know when the child is going to come or when the heart attack is going to come. I can tell you that because I've been through a heart situation in January. So it came past 11 to me in the night. So the doctors have got to be there, but the doctor wasn't there. So I was lucky to be still here. Having said that, let me now straight away, given enough introduction to the operations part. Let me begin with the two ladies. First of all, it's a pleasure to have two ladies over here, Rinku and Ms. Punjabi. Tell me, do you see any difference? Can I begin with you? All right. We're, by the way, in her hotel, so she's the host. Do you see any difference in operational efficiency during or post the pandemic as in now? Yeah. खुला on है. थोड़ा मुंह के पास.
Namaskar, everyone. Yes, the question which you have said, like during the pandemic, which we have seen, are after the during the pandemic, we got a new mantra. I can say like everybody was struggling to survive, and then they started to revive, and then right now we are trying on every those periods. Actually, I say in the hospitality industry, not only the hotel, full hospital industry were struggling, and we all have gone through those days. And to survive, like few of the hotels has taken the doctors and COVID patient and quarantine guests. So these operational challenges which we have seen at that time, how to cope up those time and those issues, it was really, we have survived through it. So, and then we tried to revive our processes, set standard to start again all these what I will say, like to start with. And then right now we are thriving with all these things. Like we are saying, yes, we have to go back, we have to hit hard, we have to come up. And the operational challenges you will see, like that time the people are not ready to come and start working. Right now we are facing the staff crunch, the people, we are not able to get enough staff for our day-to-day operations. And then how to make the guest, how to assure the guest that yes, you are safe, you are so these are the challenges. And then from, I can say, like from aesthetically, we used to say we are aesthetically clean. Right now we are talking about we are clinically clean or hygienically clean. So to maintain all these things, the challenges, I'll say like staff retentions and how to motivate them to I'll say to optimum the resources. All these things are coming into our plates. So we have to deal with these. So these all are operational challenges we are facing. So
it's not easy to be a housekeeping staff, and worse, being the boss of housekeeping. And for a hotel like this, and also I also say they spoil us, because when we come and stay with them for a day, 2, 3, 4, or a little more, they get us used to standards which are hard to replicate at home, right? For me, the biggest challenge is getting the pillow right. The pillows that we get with them, we don't get at home, right? So
yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Rinku. Varsha, मैं आपके पास आऊं?
Sure, sir.
एक तो मैं आपका नाम क्या है? वर्षा पंजाबी.
Correct.
तो ये पंजाबी है या क्या है, आप बताइए. कैच है, जिसका सरनेम पंजाबी होगा वो पंजाबी नहीं होता, वो सिंधी होता है.
That's correct.
All right. So, okay, that's a light one. So anybody who's got some post-lunch slackness, so this is an intervention. So tell me, how do you measure operational efficiency? I mean, she's handling a very important part of the Marriott portfolio. I mean, she looks after hygiene. You know, when did we have somebody dedicated to look after hygiene in a hotel, in a branded hotel before the pandemic? So that just tells you the kind of focus brands like Marriott have given. Yeah.
Thank you for having me here.
A pleasure, ma'am.
While a lot of people here would want to measure operational challenges or other operational efficiency by totaling up the input versus the output, I would beg to differ here. And for a hygiene manager, what I would rather put as an operational efficiency measure would be the number of events that we have done, or the number of dishes that we have dished out from the kitchens, vis-a-vis the high quality ingredients that we have used with the minimum wastages and zero complaints. So what I'm trying to talk about here is the customer satisfaction and zero complaints, or next to zero complaints. That is determining my operational efficiency. Like we see an increase in the growth curve of the hospitality industry with a reduction in the staff levels that we are facing today. Maintaining optimum hygiene levels and reducing the food complaints should be our actual indicator of operational efficiency.
Well, that's a short and crisp. Very
I
nice.
think, I'd like to add my 2 bits to this. I think she put it very well, but then everything she said was topped up with a smile. You know, this is an industry which would never come to an end because we're all dealing with food over here. And this is an industry which never sleeps. So we're constantly on our toes, and then, you know, come what may, we always there for our guests. We always, you know, going out of our way to help them. And in COVID came, COVID went, but then the show must go on and the show will go on.
Yeah. Tell me, talking about operational efficiency, I can pick you in a crowd. ये कैसे maintain करते हो आप?
So ये तो, this comes with experience. That's
ये
all.
googly है, by the way.
जी.
है ना? Jaiswal is going to complete a double ton. Yeah. So he was there with me last year in Delhi and he won the award. So I have my wisecracks with him. And every time he'll turn out and he'll be different. So you have to keep looking around. Ke aaj kya different kiya?
It's one of the best practices for sustainability also. Just saving on gel and oil.
Gel
and whatever
nahi
you call
Water
it.
as well.
So it's a 1:3 ratio of oil and water.
All right. Not bad at all. So Ajay, coming to you. Ajay is a Delhi boy who's right now in Mumbai. So you had the North for Fortune Park Hotels. So for ITC Fortune Park Hotels, he heads the North, right? And Fortune Park Hotels coming out with some brilliant assets, right? Ajay, mere ko ye batao. This industry has had a lot of issues after first of all, the Indian hospitality industry, touch wood, wherever wood is, right? Keep your fingers crossed, is on a high like never before. The world is struggling, but the Indian hospitality industry is playing 5 feet out of the crease, if you people know cricket. So in that parlance, they're doing extremely well. They're extremely confident. The ARRs, every parameter is exceeding expectations. So, and let me tell you right now, inbound hasn't really taken off the way we were. Pipelines are strong for new assets. So coming to you, Ajay, mere ko ye batao, what are the key challenges related to manpower faced by the hospitality industry post the pandemic? Because people had left the industry during the pandemic. वो गांव चले गए, घर चले गए, एयरलाइंस भी बंद थी, वहां नहीं मिली, जो मिल गया वो नौकरी ले ली. अब जब आपने ये छोड़ के दूसरी नौकरी ले ली है, वो छोड़ के यहाँ आने में बड़ी दिक्कत हो रही है. बताओ, what are the learnings?
Well, thank you for having me, Bhuvnesh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, I think you've just hit the nail on the head, because one of the biggest challenges that the industry is facing, I think everybody would agree with it, is the manpower challenge. The first to get hit was the hospitality industry. You know, March 2020, a day before pandemic, we were all sitting at 100% occupancies. 1.5 manpower ratio, room to manpower ratio. The very next day, you were sitting at a 0% occupancy.
True.
There was a lot of people were asked to take leave without pay. A lot of them lost their jobs. I'm not talking about our hotels in particular. I think overall in the industry. So everybody realized, I think the down the line staff realized that, you know, this is, of course, it was for everybody, not for all industries though. People had to kind of fend for themselves and start looking at, just like what you said, at other options. We all know post-pandemic also, you know, a lot of hotel management schools had over 60% of their seats empty because there were not many takers for the industry.
True.
Once they realized that the first to get hit and the last to recover is
the hospitality and the tourism and the travel business. It was a very, very challenging time. It still continues to be very challenging. It's not that, everything has come back. Business came back post-pandemic, as if there was no tomorrow. But the team members, the staff was not back at the same speed as the business came. So that was one of the biggest challenges, which still continues to be there. And I think right now, I would be very thankful, all of us who heard Karthik speaking about Garima project. I think all of us are going to head towards him post this discussion and actually ask for help. Catering schools were dishing out less number of people. The experienced hands had moved to other industries, and we were all basically sitting and waiting for things to happen. So eventually, of course, it was a big challenge, but I think most of us in the industry acted quickly on it and tried to see how we can multi-skill our team members. Department A trying to assist Department B to see how best we can work around things rather than just sitting and waiting for things to happen. So yes, it has been one of the most challenging tasks as far as the manpower is concerned.
The message to the people who have not come back is there'll be very few industries which will see a high like this, right? So this is the time to come back to hospitality and be counted. You wanted to say something?
I would like to add my 2 bits to this. I think it's imperative to note the elephant in the room is manpower today.
Yeah.
Okay, a few days back, I called up one of my sous chefs who was working with me before the pandemic struck. And I said, why don't you come back and join us? He says, I'm no more with the industry. And it would be quite surprising to note he's turned into an Uber driver now. He says, Uber pays me much better. I'm at a less stress-free job than what I was with hotels. I work for 7-8 hours and I'm done, and I'm making much more than what I used to make earlier. So I think
talking about Uber, I was once driven about 3 years ago by a gentleman who used to head the entire fleet for Oberoi, Delhi.
Okay.
Right, very respectable gentleman. I was shocked because he was speaking to me like an extremely polished hotelier. So I tried to break into him in Punjabi. I asked him, and he wasn't very comfortable, but he said, listen, I'm very proud. I carry my pride on my shoulder. I drive an Uber on my own terms. I'm done with the hotel job. Yeah. Well, there you are.
So the pandemic taught us 2 very, very important things for life, I would say. One is it kind of told us, or rather, kind of highlighted that nobody is indispensable. The best of the best hoteliers, the best of the best chefs were furloughed. And the worst of the worst chefs became entrepreneurs overnight. Someone who didn't.
Yeah, so, this has happened with a whole lot of industries, right? People have, वो हिंदी में कहावत है मरता क्या ना करता, तब वो hotels बंद थे, व्यवसाय चाहिए था, आमदनी चाहिए थी. So they got into something, and if it succeeded, so they went along with that. So I'll come back to you. Is your time over? Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
All right. So tell me, how are you coping with the current increased expectations of the guests, right? Because I haven't finished. All right. Related to cleanliness and hygiene, given the context of the kitchen and you being a chef.
I think people guests have become more mindful of the very fact that, post-COVID, everyone wants to eat healthy. Anything which is served out to them needs to have a little bit of health quotient into it. So the moment you serve something to a guest, he'll ask you what's so special about this? Why does this disqualify to be on the menu today? So earlier, before COVID, nobody used to even bother about what are they eating. Now you have the calories mentioned on the menu, you have the fat content on it, you have the allergens mentioned on it. That was not the case pre-COVID. So now everyone's become very mindful of what they're eating. So the health consciousness has come into play. And but then talking about cleanliness always existed even before COVID, and come what may.
So tell me, guests, are they ordering the same portions and same variety? Are they experimenting, or they're following a straight line?
Well, yes, you have a mix of both. You have a few guests who want to experiment, want to try different things every single day they come into the hotel. You have a few guests who have been eating the same old thing time and again. So it's a mixed bag, I would
So
say.
old fogs like me will follow a straight line. Is that right?
Maybe. Depends on what you want to eat.
I expected you say no. You're not old.
I'm just being very candid over here.
All right. Okay. So good one, Jesper. Coming to you, Yogesh. Right? क्या पूछूं?
Anything you can.
So tell me, does your organization follow any global agency like Good Earth, like Earth Check, etc., for measuring utilities savings?
Right. So now earlier session. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, earlier
Give an
session.
introduction to yourself. Marriott, मैं ये करता हूँ, वो करता हूँ. मेरे को कार्ड नहीं दिया, मैं इसलिए याद दिलवा रहा हूँ.
Sustainability, sir.
हाँ.
So all right. So every organization is focused towards sustainability now, and we have our own tools to measure the sustainability. So Marriott as a brand, we have sustainability toolkit, which has different parameters to measure it. Of course, the targets for each parameters is been set, and it has been monitored part of KPIs as well. So we have our internal processes where the monitoring of sustainability resources are controlled, and it has been controlled by the general manager of the hotel. So a lot of focus towards it. It also gives us post-pandemic results when we are into a sustainability where, as earlier said, that we reuse the water maybe for a WC flush. It is also important for us, how do we educate our guests as well as team members? Educating, having a treated water back in WCs, how do we educate it? So we even monitor those parameters that how we can reach out to the customers and pass on this message.
So tell me, increasingly, I travel quite a bit. I just came back to Delhi yesterday afternoon. I'm in Mumbai today. I go back, and then after some time I go to Bangalore, and I keep traveling. Before the month closes, I'm going to be at 3 different places. I travel. I get to airports, right? I get to hotels. More and more at airports, especially, I'm seeing waterless urinals. What does it take a good hotel to do that, at least with public toilets? What do you call them? वो जो lobby shobby में होते हैं? Public area washrooms, right? So, and then take it to maybe the rooms. Is that too much of an investment? Or?
So urinals, yes, we do have a solutions, and I would like to thank our partners, Diversies, to have that option made available for us. It is important for us to educate ourselves and people around to adopt those things and get going with the new practices in place. So we do, in fact, in our hotel, we don't have 100% waterless urinals, but we have the largest space, which is the banquet space, where we have a capacity of 1,000 to 1,500 people at a time, where we are sustaining with the waterless urinal system.
मेरे पास एक आइडिया है, पानी लोगों को कम देना शुरू कर दो, वो यूरिनल का भी कम इस्तेमाल करेंगे.
Sir, the water goes through a different ways. We have to look at our business selling a beers as well. So it does not matter
but on a
how it
serious
goes.
Note, I think whatever you do, the amount of water that is being wasted in urinals, right, or in kitchens, you don't have those sprays. What do you call them? वो जिससे आजकल पानी कम जाता है, क्या बोलते हैं उनको? Aerators. हाँ, वो मेरे घर में लगे हैं. But जहाँ hard water है, वहाँ पर दिक्कत हो रही है because वो जम जाते हैं. So what do you do?
For that, of course, in the hotels, we have descaling schedules in place. Having those aerator, caps in the taps or inbuilt.
When you have your preventive maintenance schedules in place, we should not face any kind of challenges. So it is important when we implement something. Behind that, we have to have a process to ensure that we take care of those aspects and get the quality or the result that we are expecting.
Excellent. So Ajay, tell me, as the big boss, right? Bahubali nahi, big boss, area manager. What is your brief? In short, I want bullet point responses. How do you control that? When you're taking a walk around, do you look at all this? कि वो tap drip कर रहा है या पाइप खुला तो नहीं छूट गया गार्डन के अंदर, वो घास में ज्यादा पानी तो नहीं दे रहा, वो इस प्लांट को इतना पानी नहीं दे रहा बट उसको भी दे रहा है, ये चीजें.
I think this is the part of every GM's life. When we do a walk around the hotel, it's not just to show
तो
that.
डांटते हो उनको, कैसे समझाते हो?
नहीं, डांटने का तो कुछ मतलब नहीं बनता है. But the fact of the matter is that when you see, if you walk into the lobby and you see that the porch door is left open, it could be a check-in happening, bags must be coming in. It's a polite way to just go and tell the door person that
Darban.
कि इसको आप बंद रखा कीजिए. Please keep it shut, because of course your air conditioning is escaping and it adds further to your costs.
True.
Similarly, like you said, serving water, because I think most of us have moved to bottled glass bottles.
For instance, I'm not going to drink this.
Exactly.
Neither are you.
Exactly.
Somebody's had that. So that half a glass of water is consumed. What happens to the other half?
So
if it is RO, already 33% is wasted.
Absolutely. So we call it glass half full rather than empty. So we pour half a glass of water only if there is a guest who
मैं
insists.
conscious हूँ, आप conscious हैं, ये सब conscious हैं. पर जो सफाई करने वाला कर्मचारी है, उसको ये it hasn't dawned on him कि भाई ये दिक्कत है.
So what we do normally again is that we have an app across the chain. It's called Fortune Fix. So it's like Welcome Gem in ITC hotels, and most of you probably have the same app. So every time, it's not only the general manager, everybody has been briefed and actually trained and guided that anytime you see anything which is amiss.
पर वो माली और झाड़ू पोछे वाले को वो ऐप से क्या लेना देना?
Sir, you would be very surprised. वो जो माली और झाड़ू पोछे वाले हैं, they are more responsible than you and me today.
चलो शुक्र है.
No, they have
So
seen.
tell me, are you people, I mean, just let's see a show of hands. Are you people alive to what is happening with our resources? पानी के ऊपर कौन ध्यान रखता है? अच्छा, कितने लोग ध्यान रखते हो आप लोग? ये तो आधा भी नहीं हुआ. भाई साहब पहली टेबल पे 3 विकेटें गिर गई. बिजली के ऊपर कोई ध्यान रखता है? देखा देखी में ही हाथ खड़े कर दो. नहीं रखते आप? बोलो, उन्होंने तो सिर ही हिला दिया. चलो शुक्र है, सच तो बोला. So anyway, I put it lightly, but then we've really got to take this on. And more than anything else, we've got to do the geometrical progression. वो जो बेचने का तरीका नहीं होता था, वो टपरवेयर वगैरह. So I think हर कोई अपने sphere of influence के अंदर 5 से 10 लोगों को, Nilesh, can you see somebody's calling me up? Just pick it up and check what it is. So if we can influence 10 or 15 within our sphere of influence and ensure that they start following a line, it'll be good for environment, right? Not just hotel. I think the battle starts at home. Battle starts in our personal lives. And the younger, the better. And the old people will be ready to embrace it, like me. All right. Thank you all. I've had a wonderful time here.
Thank you for having us.
So I just hope you guys were okay with it.
Thank you.
Pleasure,
Yes,
sir.
Always.
Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. That's the end of my 2 sessions. I now rush off in another 2 or 3 minutes because I have to get on to a live show now.
Thank
Anil
you.
Datta.
Thank you
Thank
to
you.
our panelists and if the
Diversity,
audience-
thank you for having me over all the way from Delhi. right? I have a ball of a time. I get to meet so many people, meet you all, and see what you guys are doing. I love that Lindstorm presentation. Mr. Rai, where is he? So great presentation. Yeah, so very nice. And thank you for having me over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All of you, if you could just stay back, I would like to call Shashidhar to please give you all a small token of gratitude, please. May I request Karthik to please come on stage and give us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.